Well, hello, everyone. Welcome to PlayFrame and Demon's Souls with two Dans. Dan, how are you doing?
Oh, I'm doing fantastic. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. I'm excited to be playing a FromSoft game in co-op with you again, because it's been a little bit now.
I know, it's been a hot minute since we played a Souls game.
Right?
Like, I'm trying to think date-wise.
We played Dark Souls 3, and then we stopped playing Dark Souls 3 for ages, and then Dark Souls 3 let us play again, and that was fun, but then it's been a while again.
Been a while.
So this is going to be an exciting time. One, we're playing Demon's Souls together, which is great because we've never been able to do that prior to this remake coming out. But two, this is the start of a new era, Dan.
Oh.
Because historically, you've, like, in playing together, you have had Lady Jingle as your kind of like existing Souls OC, and Lady Jingle's got a lot going on, like a lot of great like history and personality, and there's like Lady Jingle's bringing a lot of character to the table, I feel. I've not done that much on that front with my characters. I've largely gone with kind of a just similar like character as I make for the solo playthroughs, and they're pretty blank slate, and I call them Elise, and they're great and all, but there's not a lot to them. I think it's time now that Lady Jingle have a proper sidekick.
Oh my goodness.
As a pairing going for us. So I've gone ahead and created a character here. I'm gonna make one little adjustment because it feels like if you're gonna be a sidekick for Lady Jingle, you gotta have a little more going on. There we go. And then we have a name for this character, which I wish I could say I came up with myself. Somebody in chat on a stream nearly a year ago now came up with this. And if that was you and you're watching this, then say who you were in comments, because this is very good. The companion for Lady Jingle on these co-op adventures henceforth is going to be known as... Hang on. No, wrong. Is going to be known as... Typing slowly on a controller keyboard. Hang on, though. It's the gravitas is building. Is going to be known as Slay Bell.
Yes.
Which is extremely good.
It's very good. It's so good. I'm a little jealous, you know?
Honestly, it's inspired by Lady Jingle and the whole Slay Bell sound aesthetic that you've been crafting over time on this channel. I'm very excited.
Lady Jingle cannot wait to meet Slay Bell.
These two are going to make a mess.
She's very excited, yeah.
I feel like Slay Bell's going to be way more up for nonsense and antics, whereas Elise may have been harder to convince to do an NPC murder when it would be advantageous. I feel like Slay Bell is extremely prone to peer pressure with Lady Jingle specifically.
Just Lady Jingle peer pressure.
A sidekick who's a little too eager to please, maybe.
Perfect. I'm gonna have to look back up all the NPC drops again, you know?
Oh boy.
I've been like, oh, you know, Dan doesn't want to kill any NPCs, you know, I won't. But, you know, looks like weapon drops are back on the menu.
It's a dawn of a new and much more hostile era. But I'm excited. It's going to be a good time. I've already alerted the Dan hunting folks that we're playing this and that we're recording tonight, so it's possible that in this first session we'll see some guest appearances. I'm excited to play this because I haven't actually played this remake yet. I knew we were going to be getting to a co-op run eventually, so I just figured I'd wait. And now it's been a couple of years, but I'm excited to see how pretty this is.
It's so pretty.
Looks pretty.
It's a little unfair how pretty it is.
Yeah, boy, this studio is super good at taking old games and making them way pretty.
Shadow of the Colossus remake, man, that's gorgeous too.
Yeah.
So good.
Yeah, they did some pretty exceptional work. I'm excited to see whatever it is they're on next.
Yeah.
It feels like Bloodborne is inevitable eventually in a long enough timeline.
But none have returned.
I'd love for it to be next, though.
Wait, what was that next?
I feel Bloodborne. I feel like
Oh
it's
my gosh.
inevitable.
Oh,
Maybe not next, but someday.
someday, yeah. It's coming on PC, guys. It's totally happening.
This is gonna be the year, everybody.
This is the year, guys.
It's happening.
I got the inside scoop, man. It's dope. It's happening.
Guaranteed.
Website bloodborne.pc got renewed.
All right, so place your bets right now, and I'll try to do the same. What will happen first? Bloodborne arriving on PC, or getting a Blue Point remake, either one, or Silksong finally coming out.
I'm going Silksong. I'm feeling the shadow drop. I'm feeling it.
I think I agree.
I don't know why. I have that gut feeling.
I feel like in the event, I feel like it's very possible and likely we're going to get Bloodborne either on PC or remade by Blue Point within the next 5 years, almost certainly. But I feel like if they're working on that, they're not ghost dropping that. They're going to give that a little bit of marketing time. But
yeah.
Silksong, I think you're right. I think that could show up very suddenly.
It's one of those things. Because I think, didn't they stated like they already went past the initial like date they wanted to release at or something? Because they were like, hey, we're going to push it back just a little bit.
Yeah.
Which, hey, is totally fine.
And yeah, really, as many times as you guys need to do it, I'll grouse about it, but please, ignore me. Keep doing what you're doing.
It's like, oh, how could they do this day one by?
Oh, yeah. I want them to be happy with what they release. If they're happy, I am certain I will be too.
Oh, yeah.
And we begin.
Part of me is excited for if it doesn't shadow drop of hey, it's gonna play. I'd love to go through the game and do the full, was it 110 120% or whatever it is.
Oh yeah,
it'd be fun to revisit because I played it a lot with randomizers and stuff these days, but not just playing it,
Yeah, not just doing it a vanilla straight up normal, getting into the vibes playthrough. I could see wanting to do that as well.
Oh yeah, we should do the 120 Steel Soul. We should.
Oh boy.
Let's do that, Dan.
I don't know. That sounds like a bad idea. But we're in a sleigh bell era where
That's true.
Where now I embrace these bad ideas.
Even.
I'm excited for sleigh bell. So I guess we haven't even really talked about builds at all. I feel like I'm going to go very dexterity based on this character. I haven't done it in one of our co-op runs in a bit, and rather than go with the kind of standard easy mode of the royal or royalist class that I would normally do in Demon Souls just to make things easier on myself, it's co-op. I feel like I can play it a little more fast and loose. What are you thinking of doing?
So I'm also kind of going a little dexterous, not as much big weapons. But what I am doing is some magic. I was like, you know what?
Ooh.
I want to do some magic.
Yeah.
So we're gonna do some magic, mainly because when I started going through Demon Souls, when this remake came out, I was like, that first playthrough that was on the channel, that was my first ever playthrough. So
yeah, that's true.
I don't know any of the magic because all I did was giant sword.
That's a good point. Hey, we should bring that up. If you guys want to see Dan experience Demon Souls, the original, for the very first time, we did that together here on the... Excuse me, guys. I'm trying to say a thing. We did that here together on this channel. Here, I put a link to the playlist up in the corner right now. Go watch Dan experience original Demon Souls for the first time.
Yeah.
In a sprint over one weekend.
That was a sprint. I did come visit for... I think it was a long weekend or something like that.
Yeah.
And we sure just barely made it through. I think it was 2 hours after we recorded is when I was like, okay, gotta go to the airport.
Yeah, we cut it a little close. Things got a little messy toward the end there with that darn blue dragon, and Black World tendency really reared its ugly head on us a bit and cut it a little close. But you pulled it off.
We did. We got there.
Yeah.
Now it's we can actually do stuff about World Tendency because the servers weren't even online at that point.
That's true. Yeah, we had to like get logged into some fan servers to survive that ordeal then. But yeah, we got an actual like live working Demon Souls here. You've played through the remake a little bit at least? Have you like how many times have you gone through it at this point?
I think I went through it twice when it like I went through one right when it came out, and then I revisited it. I think just on the side to play it through myself. I might have streamed it. I don't really remember. And then I started like a few co-op runs here and there that never got off the ground.
Sure.
So it's still very new to me, and it's one of those like so many weapons and little hidden secrets and like unique rings and armor pieces that I'm like I've still never seen. So
yeah,
it's fun. It's fun exploring and finding new stuff.
Absolutely. This is easily the Souls game Dan and I are Blue Eyes guy are least familiar with, even having both gone through it a couple of times. So boy, they really are generous with parry timing in this one more than I remember.
Yeah. Do you have the buckler?
I don't even. I'm playing a dexterity like the Wanderer. So I've got a what do I have? Boy, this UI is way better than the original, huh? Just a wooden shield, straight up. It's doing good work though.
Doing good work.
Fair warning, everyone. There will probably not be actual co-op in this first episode because the way this game is structured, I do actually need to get through the first boss. So, Boletaria 1-1, I do actually need to beat before I can summon somebody. That's okay, we'll just hang out. Boy, this game's pretty, and this blue-eyed knight armor looks rad.
Oh, the glowy eyes, like... I don't know at what point in human history that someone was like, what if glowy eyes? But great, promote that person. Give them a raise.
Yeah, I agree.
They figured it out for fantasy classes everywhere.
I even added a very, very slight eye glow to Slay Bell. I think it's so slight that it won't be visible at all, but there is just a very, very slight pink luminescence to our girl here.
Oh, very nice.
Yeah, just a little bit.
Yeah, I think I initially had glowy red eyes on Lady Jingle as per normal.
Yeah.
But I think I changed it to be a little more yellowish orange because it's just really bright in soul form.
Oh, yeah.
It's really cool.
Cool
looks.
I'm excited to see what Lady Jingle looks like in Demon Souls Remake.
I know. There was a, for being such a pretty, new game, especially in the Souls series, there's very limited hair options, it felt like.
Oh, yeah. I kind of felt the same.
I don't know. Maybe it's just like more short hair options, but I got a short hair Lady Jingle.
Ooh.
Yeah. Mixing it up.
I'm excited to see. We'll get there. It's wild seeing like detailed animation in
the
Demon Souls.
The actual talking and stuff like that.
Well, a bit of that. Like I haven't even gotten that far, but yeah, like seeing facial expressions on human enemies that you're fighting just out in the world is weird.
Yeah.
Boy, the lighting in this is pretty.
So pretty. So pretty. The Nexus is so cool too, like with all the candlelight everywhere.
Oh man, I bet. I can't wait to see. I can't wait to see so much of this.
You're gonna have a good time. You're gonna have a good time.
Yeah.
Also, one thing, unfortunately, for the audience you guys won't be able to experience is, in terms of PS5 games that I've played, which isn't many, to be honest, they really went ham with the rumble in this game.
Ooh.
There is a lot of very noticeable rumble, even just when you do like an R1 swing, like just any attack. There's like as soon as you do a connect with anything, it's like shakes the whole controller. And there's that kind of cool thing of like what's you know when you like pull a trigger, like you're using R2 or L2 and it'll like stop midway.
Yeah, like a little bit of resistance.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
I think it does that with like using like bows and arrows and stuff, which is really neat.
Vanguard Demon claims another victim.
Oh no.
Looks good doing it though.
Does look good. He looked good.
Jeez. You were not kidding about the Nexus.
Right? So the world might be mended.
Let strength be granted so the world might be mended. Soul of the Lord.
I'm so glad people can more easily experience this game now. Well, relatively more easily.
Yeah.
It's still on PS5, which is expensive and not always the most, like, accessible, but it will be way more easy to get to than it has been for a long time.
Yeah. Just the possibility that you can actually do it without, you know, hey, let me find these things that aren't produced anymore, and you know, find a modified server to play on for the dead service, and
Yeah.
on an already like not as popular Souls game. So it's like you're just limiting your audience more and more. But it's at least now it's like, hey, at least it's active.
Yeah. Yeah, like I'm actually seeing phantoms around.
Yeah.
It's so cool. By capturing demon souls, you can reclaim your corporeal body. I will kind of accelerate and do that a little bit just so I can scoot us toward co-op all the faster. I should probably talk to one or two of you out here, though.
Well, you slipped through the fissure too, did
Wow, you
you?
weren't kidding about actually seeing face
Demon
animation
souls,
and like acting and performance when they talk.
and be remembered as a hero.
You know that the like phrase like chewing your words
Demons?
kind of thing.
Yeah.
I feel like the Demon Souls NPCs do that. They got the TikTok trend
Why
on
you
lockdown.
came, is it not? To this accursed Poletaria. You came for demon souls.
Especially Stockpile Thomas. I mean,
to
come on.
save this land.
Ooh, can't wait to see.
Remembered as a hero. But it's all the same. You're just another prisoner of the Nexus.
It's so weird seeing actual like facial expressions and acting when they talk.
As long as
That's gonna take getting used to.
slashing
Yep.
up demons.
All right, Mr. Stockpile, sir.
I'm Stockpile Thomas. When the Scourge came, I didn't know what hit me. When I came to, I found myself here in this Nexus. My wife and daughter fell victim to the demons. But I would be worthless in battle. At the very least, I hope to lend my assistance to you brave slayers of demons.
I'm almost go so far to say as I think they're actually a little over animated.
Happy to
Yeah,
lighten your load
I
and
would
look
I would
after any
agree.
excess baggage.
It is just also weird seeing any animation.
Yeah, like part of it is I think like just getting used to it. It's not the over animation is not severe. I've definitely seen far worse on that front.
Yeah.
But I think like there is just like a little bit of almost cartooniness to their expressions and facial acting as they talk, which is just making it all the funnier, honestly.
When the Scourge came,
It's weird thinking too of like whenever I think of a Dark Souls or anything like an NPC in that, if I'm not looking at the armor or what they're wearing, it's very hard to like notice any unique facial features and stuff like that. And I feel like they do a good job in this of like kind of having unique looks to all the characters.
Yeah,
Granted, I don't think they really needed to do that in the old games to begin with, but
it's true. It does add a little something though. The faces not having anything going on during conversation means you have literally no reason to look at their faces, so which is all the less you're going to be remembering their faces. So this does actually draw some attention to them a bit more, which is kind of nice actually.
yeah.
You new here.
I'm trying to think of like any unique looking NPC. Like my brain first goes to
It's simple.
is his name Alfred in Bloodborne?
In trade,
Alfred. Yeah.
And he's got the real big
the
nose.
ones you already
I think so. Yeah.
It's like one of the only
I can
Souls
keep out the
NPCs I could think of how he
my
looks.
weapons. You can go
They do
on living.
tend to not stand out. Yeah, you recognize them by their armor. Or their neat, weird weapon or shield or silly hat or...
Love a silly hat.
Love a silly hat. Okay,
Oh,
enough
interesting.
talking to these nerds. I've got a boss to beat. A huge stone castle in the heart of northern kingdom of Boletaria. Let's see how this goes.
I love this subtle animation in the Archstone travel window too.
Yeah.
Just like the birds flying over and the smoke rising in that picture.
Ooh, I'm gonna watch for that next time. I hadn't even noticed.
It's like really like subtle, but each one has kind of like some kind of animated element.
Oh, I love that. Dragon, finish chewing your food. Boy, they're really going wild with the effects animation on this, like taking advantage of what PS5 can do. I love it.
Yep. There's definitely some that I'm like, I don't think this was necessary, and they just wanted to flex.
Ooh, I see what you mean now. But the like birds and smoke and stuff like that. I love that. That's great. Just pulled up the Archstone menu for a second. There's a shiny back here, wasn't there?
Shiny.
Shiny, shiny. Hey, before I forget, because like I did with the Hollow Knight playthrough, I forgot to mention the new merch thing until like episode 2 or 3 because we were having too much darn fun. So hey, we have for a while had a pin on our little PlayFrame store for the Jingle Covenant, the Jingle Covenant sign. And Dan made the art, like designed that pin, and it's great, and y'all should get it. Guess what? There's 2 more of them now. There is the Coffee Covenant and also the Dan Hunter Covenant. So all 3 of those are available on our store individually, or if you want a slight discount, you can get all 3. They're on the store now today. Go get them.
Go get them.
Dan designed all these. I love them.
We've had that sitting for a hot minute.
We have, yeah. Like I knew, like, okay, we're gonna get that merch, like new pins designed, and then I'm just gonna sit on them until we start a new co-op playthrough of a Souls game. And today's the day. Just had some Donkey Kong and some other.
Yeah, we had stuff to take care of.
Yeah.
I feel like in the future, if there's ever, like conventions or, events or something we happen to be at, and it's like we see a Dan Hunter pin on, strikes a fear deep in our hearts.
Yeah, what do you do? If they reach out for a handshake, do you accept?
Just go, hey!
Or do you run? Do you like throw whatever you're holding at them and then sprint in the opposite direction?
Yeah, exactly that. Here's my souls. Please leave me alone. We're just trying to get through the area, man. That's all we do.
We're trying to get to a panel.
Yeah.
We're going to be late. Ooh, loving your fire sword, sir.
Oh, I did pick up this spell that I probably will never use because it takes all of my like attunement slots to use.
Ooh.
But it does do the kind of equivalent of the Chikage from Bloodborne, where it slowly drains my health.
Ooh.
But I think it's attacks steal health or something, or it just does more damage.
Cool.
But the effect on it is very cool. It's like, I think it's kind of supposed to look like a like trail of blood with like a specific path and not like affected by gravity kind of thing, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
It's very cool looking, but very resource heavy.
Hey, that's what co-op is for.
That's true.
If I've proven just about anything, well, you know what? We've taken turns proving this over the course of our co-op runs. Co-op runs are for bad builds.
Yeah, that's the purpose of them.
Yep.
And they're better for it.
It's true. That's kind of what I love about going into any new co-op Souls run with you and I. We won't know until we get about halfway through which one of us chose the bad build this time. It's always one of us.
Always one. But we make it work. We stick with it.
Still can't believe they created this instant death pit, this one particular instant death hole in Boletaria 1-1 still baffles me and amuses me.
Wait, what pit is it?
So like when you go through the initial like crossing the bridge,
it's got the
going up
shiny
the thing
stuff on it, right?
Yeah, it's got like the little fireflies basically just floating down there, and it's just they never do just instant death pits like that.
And they did it. They were like, what about right here? In the middle of this city.
Got it out of their system early.
Yeah. Oh, I guess one thing we can figure out while you're running through here is
Yes.
What do we want to do first once you get through that boss?
That's true. Do we like? You have such flexibility.
The world's our oyster, Dan.
It's true. It's our oyster. The world is an oyster, and like you can just keep on going into Boletaria a little ways, but the further you go down any one of these spokes, the harder it gets. So you can also kind of just do the first of each world, then second of each world, and go that way.
Yeah.
I feel like I'd be down for like doing 1-2.
I think 1-2 is a good call. I think it's a fitting like further introduction to the game.
Yeah,
It's like you're just getting used to this one location.
absolutely. And by then we'll have seen a whole lot of solo Boletaria. Let's get in a little co-op Boletaria before we move on
Co-op Boletaria.
to new frontiers.
It still makes me a little sad that so in the Nexus, for folks who haven't played, there's these 6 pillars that you can use as fast travel, and it's kind of similar to like resting at a bonfire and choosing where you warp for like Dark Souls 2 and 3.
Yeah.
And there's these 6 pillars that you go to, and 5 of them are like the entire game, like those are where you go. And there's one that's crumbled, and part of me was really hoping when they did this remake that they were gonna like put a DLC out for this new zone.
Yeah. Oh, you weren't alone. A lot of people were really wondering, like, it was an interesting thing they always did in, like from the start in Demon Souls, that original Demon Souls release with, oops, didn't realize I was in reach of that firebomb, so I'm a little on fire, but it's fine. Original Demon Souls released with there being only 5 accessible, like, spokes to go down, but there was that teased 6th one that is broken, that you just couldn't access. Like, maybe they originally intended to do another one. Maybe it was always just there to like tease the idea of the world being bigger, but people did wonder, will they, with this remake, make a 6th world?
So far, no. maybe though, you know.
Never know.
Yeah.
Still just tuning it up a little.
Because I think, isn't it supposed to be, it was like a frost giant or something, like in the lore, right?
Yeah, it's definitely something giants. I remember giants being involved.
I feel like it could benefit from a cold zone, because there's not really a cold
That's true.
area in this. Although I will say, some of my favorite bosses in Demon Souls, when we played through it, they are still really good. Like, I feel like they got a lot of love too. Like, especially the parts I really loved about playing through the original game.
Oh, I can't wait.
They look so good, and the sound effects. Oh, Dan, I'm excited.
I'm excited too. In part also, like, to see them looking great, but also because the only 2 times I've experienced Demon Souls were my first time through, and that was before I'd even really the boulder. Look out. We're fine. The first time through I played it, and watching your first time through, and that was 3 or 4 years ago at this point. So my memory of Demon Souls is still kind of hazy, and I don't know it by heart.
Yeah.
Excited to re-experience it all, but prettier.
It's interesting thinking. Like, even playing through the game a few times now, I'm trying to like remember certain paths and zones, and I'm like, I don't really remember how you get from here to here. Especially the like swampy zone. That's all like gross.
Yeah.
I don't remember a lot of that.
Swamp is rough. Second world is pretty... Feels like it's pretty complex, too.
Yeah,
A lot of caves.
the cave one, yeah. Honestly, I think there's still stuff in the cave zone I've never explored. Like when you get down to like the lava and the big bugs.
Yeah, yeah.
I remember just like noping out of that situation.
Understandably. Forgot how far you gotta manage to get before you can level up in this game.
Yeah, it's chunky. So, what do you think has the worst, like, hey, you can't start quote unquote the game until because Bloodborne you need the mad, or you need what's oh my god, insight.
Insight. Yeah, yeah.
So you either need to go into the boss or go find one of the few drops that's in that area. This one, you need to clear the first boss. What else we got? Dark Souls 1 is just getting to Firelink, which is pretty quick and easy.
Yeah, that's not too bad. I was going to say Bloodborne, but... And maybe it is still Bloodborne, but there is something to the fact that you don't have to beat the boss to start leveling.
You just gotta poke your head in there and be like, oh,
yeah,
I saw too much.
the fact that you heal by eating the crescent grass in this does help a lot, like having so many more heals for one run.
Yeah. So one of the things they did change between the original and this is you don't really notice it on the lower level grass that much.
Yeah.
But when you get into the higher level that does like full heals or just like massive amounts of HP,
Yeah.
they increase the weight of those grass items because there's still equipment weight inventory in this game.
Oh.
So now you can still have a lot of grass on you at any point in time, but it prevents you from just having like full 99 stacks of basically everything. So you kind of have to choose, like, okay, I want to go in with this much grass because I'm clearing out a whole zone, or it's just a boss.
Yeah, I guess that makes sense.
As much as I don't like the equipment weight limit in this game, I do think that was like a smart decision.
Yeah,
to like limit it in some way.
I agree. Like, it's a thing that makes it harder, but it's also that feels reasonable and fair.
Like, okay, I've got 3 different types of grass in my inventory right now. We've got crescent moon, half moon, and late moon, and I think those are like the first 3 levels of it. And I've got 12 stacks of each. The first one weighs 1.2 pounds, half moon weighs 2.4, late moon weighs 6. So it's
wow,
kind of basically doubling each time.
And throw. Yeah. Sorry, just very well placed firebomb on my part.
Nice.
And then catching on fire.
Golf claps.
Thank you.
Oh, yeah, speaking of golf claps, I need to check my emote wheel, or are there emotes in this? There's emotes, right?
Yeah, there's like gestures and stuff for sure. Yeah, I'll have to get that figured out and loaded up. I like the being in soul form, like, ghosty effect.
It is very cool, yeah.
It's a nice consolation for having only half HP all the time.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, we need to find, where's that ring, the like cling ring? Let's see where that is. Because that's a good early thing for you.
Oh yeah, that's a good one to find.
Where to find the cling ring? It's in Buletaria 1-1.
Ooh. Maybe I've picked it up. I should check real fast. I'm I'm kind of in just like go mode.
Between
Hey, I
the
already
gates
have
that
it.
you open. Oh, nice. There you go. Never mind.
There we go. Got that equipped. Maybe I should, in this lull, see if I've got anything. These are old ragged robes. That's not. Gloves, better than nothing. I'll take that. Sure. Okay. That's not open yet. Right, this is just opening up the shortcut, opening up this first gate. Yeah, I'll have to start figuring out like what kind of build I want to go. Like dexterity, I already said, but like what sort of weapon, what kind of a, what's my gearing destination here? I'll have to start thinking about that.
Any knee-jerk kind of reactions? Like, what are you thinking off the top of your head? Of like, I want to get that kind of sword, you know?
Yeah, like I've played so little Demon's Souls. It's been a while since I did a dexterity build at all. If I was playing it in Dark Souls, I'd at least have a few like things I remember, like, oh, the scythe is good, or some of these twin blade type things are pretty good, or whatever. Demon's Souls, I don't remember well enough to even like recall what the dexterity options are. So that'll just be kind of some discovery.
Okay, so I'm going through emotes, and we might have to showcase a few of these to each other.
Ooh, okay, all right.
Some are just a little silly.
Excited about that. This seems like another good firebomb opportunity. Aha! Aha.
Aha, I said.
Oh, come on. I see these are just fire bombs for you to take advantage of with the barrels and whatnot. Fine. You know, I'm curious, since it's still going to be a little bit before we have a Lady Jingle on screen. Like, who is Lady Jingle? You've had this character for a while. Like, what are the origins?
Who is she? Like her OC lore? Like,
kind of, but like, how did you first come up with her? And then, yeah, like, who I'm super curious to hear, like, who do you see Lady Jingle as a character, as being? Like, who is Lady Jingle in your head?
okay, so her origins go back to Dark Souls 2, when I did a co-op campaign with a friend, and they named their character something silly, so I was like, well, I have to name myself something silly, so I made Lord Jingle. Lord Jingle was the character I played for that. And he was, you know, my typical giant weapon kind of thing.
Sure.
And then my next playthrough of Dark Souls 2 that I did, because I was very into Dark Souls 2 when it came out.
Yeah.
And I was just like, well, we got Lord Jingle, what if Lady Jingle? So I made Lady Jingle and did a whole playthrough of her. And the name just kind of stuck from there on. Like, I think when, you know, like Dark Souls 3 came out, I was like, oh, let's roll up Lady Jingle again. I liked that character.
Yeah.
And it kind of just stuck. And now it's like any RPG or character that I can name, just like Lady Jingle becomes the first like default I go to.
I kind of like having some of those defaults that I settle into. There's like a little bit of familiarity, but it's a new incarnation of them.
Mm-hmm. And one of the fun things that, like, if there is any canon lore for Lady Jingle, it's all over the place, because one of the fun things I like to do when I'm playing is I imagine like all Lady Jingles are the same, like they are the same Lady Jingle.
Ooh.
It's just at different points in her life. Like,
that's
so
great.
like there we got Mass Effect Shepard. Lady Jingle is like that's somewhere in the mix, and there was this game called Plague Tale Innocence.
Yeah.
And you play as this like young girl, and she was like, she has a long braid, and it's like dark brunette, almost red hair. And I was like, wait, is this Lady Jingle's origin story? Because you get this little like sling, and you're supposed to be like little kid sneaking around, trying not to get caught by these guards, but you can just kill all the guards. Like, you can just fight and hit them with the sling.
You could definitely kill a lot of guards as this little kid.
Yeah. And I was like, maybe this is her origin story. Like, this is where Lady Jingle started from.
A lot of dots are starting to kind of connect.
Uh-huh.
It's making a kind of sense, actually. I love that.
It's also kind of fun, because when I play like an RPG, there's very much of like, I want to do I want to respond to situations the way I would, quote unquote, of like,
yeah.
In Mass Effect, most of the stuff I do is Paragon, unless there's a really funny Renegade option,
Oh, for sure.
But having Lady Jingle, where it's like, okay, I'm playing to her character, and she is very much I've learned she is she responds to strength, right?
Yeah.
So I think if someone's stronger than her, she'll like respect and understand that kind of thing.
Oh, yeah. That makes sense.
But very much like at home on the battlefield, all about war and violence and that kind of thing.
Absolutely. Historically, who are some of the characters who have earned Jingle's respect?
Ooh, okay. Rex.
Ooh.
Rex was one from Mass Effect.
I should have been able to guess that. That's, of course.
I was like, we see eye to eye. Like,
She's a Krogan at heart.
Yeah, exactly.
Just born on the wrong planet is all.
I'm trying to think of other like instances she's had. I haven't done a playthrough of Knights of the Old Republic in a hot minute, but HK 70, is it 73? HK 47.
HK 47. Yeah.
HK 47 would probably be on our okay list.
I bet.
I'm drawing a blank on anything else right now, but it's that kind of vibe.
That makes sense. I know what you mean though about like usually my default mode is kind of just make choices based on like stuff that just makes sense to me, but having a character to roleplay is kind of freeing in that way. It helps to break you out of that like sort of thought pattern in a way that I really like as well. I've been wanting to do some more of that for that reason.
It is really nice. I've found I enjoy it a lot more as an adult. Maybe just because of like having, like it's the whole thing too of like when people are asked like, Dan, why are you playing a female character? I'm like, because I'm a guy. I want to be a different character. Like,
yeah,
let me try something new.
Absolutely.
And with that same idea, it's like I'm playing this character, how they would handle the responses. It's not so much of like, oh no, I'm sad because I made the mean decision. I'm like, well, Lady Jingle would do this, and Dan might not be okay with it, but I'm playing the character.
Yeah. I like that.
Also very fun for D&D if folks are like getting into D&D for the first time. Playing to the character is a very fun thing to do.
Yeah, and it's like it feels like it's a muscle that takes a little bit of time to develop and grow too. Absolutely. Like it's a thing that I still feel like I'm very much you kind of have to like unlearn the muscle memory of feeling like, oh, this is what I want the answer to be, long enough to be able to accept and think like, to remember to stop and think, what would this character do instead of just defaulting? Yep. Oh, right, dragon. Oh, right, dragon who bails if you don't stay there. All right, dragon.
Plus side about the dragons in the remake is the fire is really easy to see where it does and doesn't hit.
That's great.
For future, come back in like episode 5 or something. You'll know what we're talking about.
I'm super excited to not absolutely loathe the run up to the final boss now.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so I don't know if this was in the original or not, but I found a door last time I was playing that cut out the first segment of that run.
Oh.
And I don't know because I only played the original once, that one time, and it's like it's hard to go back and fact check that. But yeah, like You know how you run across the like thin bridge, and then like once you shoot him enough, the blue dragon, then he moves to like next spot, right?
Yeah.
And it's like a straight shot running into that like the castle entryway.
Mm-hmm.
That first little thin stretch, you can, once you pass by that and you like loop back on the top of it, you can open up a door there, and then you never have to do that run again. Which,
interesting.
I feel like they had to have added it, because I feel like we would have looked or anything, like, maybe not.
If there was anything we could have done, I feel like we'd have done different. Anything that could have skipped us past some of that painful experience. And I was definitely, like, I wasn't doing a lot of research in advance, but I know I was trying to look for anything that might help and might avoid us having to stop and shoot 300 arrows at a dragon.
Memories.
Yeah. I'm excited to, like, I'm excited to see that spot improved.
Same. It's gonna be good.
All right, I'm opening the door.
It's gonna be good, and it's gonna be fun just doing it co-op, because then it's like,
yeah.
Hey, look at this terrible gauntlet we have to go through.
I've never experienced Demon's Souls co-op at all. This is gonna be very fun. I've opened the gate to the Phalanx boss, and now I just gotta get down there.
The gate is open.
Oh, almost didn't see you back there. There we
So
go.
I had another epiphany about backseating and why I don't like it.
Ooh. What brings this to mind?
So there's moments of like, you know, when something's about to happen in a game, and then like someone will do the like, oh, get ready, bring out the this, or you know, or something that like.
Yep.
I'm not upset that they spoiled it, because literally the thing is like happening as they're saying that, right?
Yep.
Like,
Yep.
It's not that annoys me. It's because instead of being excited about the event, I'm annoyed at the person.
Yeah. It's like stepping on you experiencing that realization of the. It immediately explains the situation that you're in. That you didn't just. This isn't just a.
Yeah.
One-off random moment. It's this is a big capital E event that is notorious in some way.
And it's just like you couldn't keep your mouth shut for like 2 seconds and then said your funny line.
Yeah. I understand. Excuse me, Mr. Goo, can I... Pardon me.
Mr. Goo. How many licks to the center of a Mr. Goo? I take it back.
I don't feel like anyone's lived long enough to... I feel like that's definitely not good for you.
Yeah.
Doctors would not recommend ingesting Mr. Goo.
I do love how those little like blobs have kind of just stuck around through most Souls games. It's like they're even the little like you know, like the mimic tiers in Elden Ring. They do that like, oh, form a point and attack kind of thing.
Oh yeah, that is basically the slime attack monster attack thing. I hadn't made that connection, but you're right.
Like classic, because you have the like undead looking ones in 1. Actually, are they in 2 as well? I don't remember.
I don't remember either.
But those guys are like the kind of same thing. They're just throwing spears instead of like making spears out of their body.
Yeah.
I think I like the shields on the Demon Souls guys more. Like,
I like the shield a lot.
because then it just kind of feels like they found a shield, you know? The goop rolled over a shield one day and they're like, hey, this isn't bad.
I'm keeping this.
It's like a hermit crab with a shell. Do you think like they outgrow the shield and they have to get like a bigger shield? I went from a wee buckler to a tower shield. Yeah.
They got their eye on Tower Knight. Someday, when I grow up, I'm stealing that. Have some fire. Ow.
Oh man, like throwing a like ball of fire or firebomb and those guys is so satisfying.
Extremely so. Just trying to do so without getting super killed by a lot of spears.
But what about more spears?
There's an awful lot of spears and shields around here. Love how slimy they look, though. Ow. I should just keep throwing these fire bombs, because as soon as we're doing co-op, I will guaranteed just forget to use them. We'll be doing just co-op times all the time. It's like, oh yeah, I could use items.
Yeah, I'll give you a little spoiler. You're never gonna need to worry about fire, Dan.
That's good to know.
This is a little sneak peek. I think there was kind of a charm with Demon Souls that has kind of been lost with Dark Souls because of like how popular they became.
Yeah.
Where, you know, when you're playing a like a roguelike and you just get a busted build and it's just fun breaking the game, you know, like.
Absolutely, yes.
It's like, oh, they probably should balance these items or this, but it's kind of just fun finding, like, oh, I found a thing that works together really well and just breaks the game.
Yep.
Because I feel like the future Souls games, like, the more they go, it's like, it's more, you know, balanced, quote unquote. Like, they try to kind of make everything work, and yeah, obviously stuff is better against certain bosses and stuff, but it's not like you're going to sweep the game with this one thing, right?
Absolutely. It does feel like they are constantly, with newer releases especially, being more mindful of the PvP ramifications of the items and weapons and stuff they put in the game.
Yeah.
So nothing can be too wild and out of control. You can't break the game with anything.
Now, Demon Souls feels like they were just figuring things out.
Yeah.
There's some silly shenanigans you can get up to in Demon Souls that I'm just now learning.
I like that too. Didn't Elden Ring make it to where there's sort of like there's PvE tuning and PvP tuning of a lot of the weapons and such?
I don't know. I feel like maybe, but I'm not sure. Maybe if you do like a PvP match, things might be scaled differently, but
yeah. Because that seems like more work, obviously, but it seems like the nice way to enjoy both things, where you can have a wacky broken weapon.
Yeah. Because I think that's fun, like, in any video game of, like, I found this hard-to-find thing or, like, a difficult location, and I'm rewarded with it.
Absolutely, yeah.
And when it's like, hey, this is still kind of just as good as my, you know, starting sword, but it does, like, a cooler effect. Like, that's nice, but it's also kind of cool just getting, you know, like a BFG all of a sudden, you know?
Yeah. Going somewhere that you probably shouldn't have been able to, but if you manage to get there, the reward is extremely, like, enticing.
Speaking of that, and this has nothing to do with Demon Souls.
Sure.
I remember when I first started playing MMOs, I was being introduced to World of Warcraft at the time. And I had my other video game brain on where I was like, I'm going to go into the place I shouldn't be and go find, like, there were like random treasure chests scattered around the world that, like, I guess would respawn at certain times. And I was like, I'm going to go find one of those when I'm low level and get cool rewards. And they're like, you get to the chest and it's like, you must be this level to open the chest. And I'm like, that was like the most soul-crushing moment for that game for me. I was like, I went out of my way to do this hard thing and not get rewarded for it. And I totally understand why, but still.
Yeah.
I can pout about it.
Oh, absolutely, yes. I feel like that kind of experience, like, it's probably my imagination, it's probably not true. I feel like that kind of experience of the cool weapon or something that you can wander off the path and go somewhere you're not supposed to, but get something bonkers, cool, and good that's going to sustain you for a while. I feel like that kind of disappeared for a bit.
Mm-hmm. I do always like seeing, like, we just had Starfield come out of, like, just because I'm thinking of, like, Oblivion. I remember when Oblivion came out, there were, like, those tutorials of, like, okay, you're going to go to this Daedric god, and you're going to do this one dungeon, and now you have the best sword in the game. And it was, like, I miss that part of old, like, RPGs, because it's just kind of silly, like...
Yeah. I kind of agree. There's something really enticing about that.
I feel like maybe it's just that it makes it makes the world feel more alive, in the fact that, like, any corner you turn around might have the best thing ever, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. Like, you want to explore everywhere, because who knows what cool thing could be here. And it doesn't feel as much like a video gamey system of, like, the game is automatically scaling the rewards of anything I pick up around me to something that makes sense for my current time, and there's no way I'm going to pick up something that the game thinks is too good for right now. Yeah, like, there is a magic to, like, I should dig into this cave. Granted, the enemies are way too strong and I've died 10 times, but you just know there's something good in there.
Yeah. I think I would almost always prefer, like...
Slayer of demons.
I guess I'm just thinking of Dark Souls, because we're playing Demon Souls right now, of, like...
Sure.
Hey, I got this cool, hard-to-find thing. I don't have the stats to wield it, but I have it, you know? And now I can, like, work specifically towards that.
Yeah.
Versus you going there and being like, it's a short sword, you know, like...
Absolutely. Elden Ring brought a lot of that back for me.
Yeah.
I feel like I definitely changed my plans for my build a few times just based on picking up a cool thing.
Yep.
Or having a guy say, hey, don't eat dragon hearts. You'll become way too cool.
Yeah.
I
did do that in my first playthrough.
Yeah. And I don't regret it. I do it again.
Yeah. I'm going to eat all the dragon hearts. Just watch.
Will I turn into the big, like, messy magma dragon someday? Sure. Until then, though, I'm going to be living it up.
Living it up. While Dan's in control, I look cool. That's future Dan's problem.
Yep. And even then, I'm still a pretty cool magma worm.
Imagine you start up the DLC, and anyone who ate too many hearts just immediately loses their character.
You have to play the whole DLC as a magma worm now, or you're turned into basically, what are the Elder Scrolls lizard people? You're a lizard person now.
What is their name?
What are they called?
Oh no, it's gonna kill me.
It's
gonna bug me too. Argonian, thank you.
I was like, I know it's not lizard folk, like, it's something different.
If that's the case, Elise is definitely going into that DLC extremely Argonian.
The archstones were placed.
Yeah, because what's that? There's like that book, the lusty Argonian. Classic Oblivion read.
Yep. Can't believe how many books there are just in the game.
Half-living sentinels of the fabric of reality.
I think I've hit a point of,
Alas, the other monumentals.
Like, I think when I was younger, or maybe just like going through my first few open world games of like coming across a book or a lore tablet or something, you know, and I'm like, I'm gonna read and soak up all this information. I think I'm starting to lose that.
I understand. I am too. In some ways, I think I didn't have it when I was younger, largely from being kind of raised up more on the Nintendo era type game where like that feels like more of a PC gamer history kind of legacy. Yeah. Of like kind of the old CRPGs and stuff like that. And I had to take a while. Like, it took me a while to kind of learn what these experiences could be. Like, in the same way that I had to with Souls. Like, I feel like I played through Demon's Souls and I enjoyed it, but I don't feel like I fully grasped and understood the experience, and so I wasn't able to experience it as fully as I was other Souls games once I fully had some time to kind of digest them. And so, like, I also feel like I played Fallout New Vegas not long after it came out. I don't think I fully appreciated what I was experiencing at that time, though. I should probably play Fallout New Vegas again someday.
Oh, yeah. I was thinking about revisiting that, because I did have all the DLCs, and I did only play them through once, and I remember really enjoying some of them.
Mm-hmm. Like, they're really good.
Like it's weird, because I get like flashes of moments from the DLC that feel like a fever dream. I'm like, was that actually part of the game, or did I just imagine that up? And for some reason, I really want to revisit it just to see if it is my imagination or I did play it and I just don't remember.
Yeah, I definitely want to revisit. Part of, like, Baldur's Gate 3 is scratching that itch right now, to be fair.
Oh, nice.
Because it is definitely all the things that are good about the flexibility of how to handle a situation that New Vegas brings, and that old Baldur's Gate and old CRPGs were really good about. 3 is stellar at. And
that's great to hear.
Yeah, no, you will, whenever you eventually get around to it, it is, I've never felt so much while playing a video game like this is just a D&D campaign that the computer has spun up for me, and I feel like I can do most about anything I can think of.
That's awesome. Everything I hear about the game, I'm just like, I'm so excited to start it. Cannot wait.
You are going to have a heck of a time whenever the day comes. I can't wait to hear stories.
Yep.
All right. I've managed to get back to the Nexus. I've talked to the Monumental up top. The more Archstones are unlocked. I'm going to, between episodes, do a little bit of leveling and checking what stuff I have in shops and things like that. And then, when we come back, Dan and I are going to start some co-op in Boletaria, everyone.
Where no dens have gone before.
Yep, we're going to go... Finally, you're going to get the first meeting and Seed fighting together of Jingle and Slay Bell. I
know.
So excited.
I'm so excited. They immediately kill each other.
You know, this isn't how I thought it was going to go, but the more I think about it and do the math in my head, this makes a lot of sense. Anyway, we'll see y'all next week for some more co-op. Bye.
Goodbye.